Welcome back. We are continue working on our colors, and now, as you see, I have attached now the color canvas to undercolor, so you can see machined now. And so the next part, what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide my color into the sections. So as I said before, this one, you've got that section, that's section 1. Okay, so that's section 1, or that color stand, it will be section 1. Now, that part here, it's section 2. Okay, and then we have corners, that part, and that part here, it's section 3 and 4. So I've got corners here, so just going to highlight like that, that's section 3, and then similar, that part, it's section 4. And the reason I divide in those sections, because is where we're going to do the pat stitch color is going to be in a different way, so in a different direction. So after when we divide that in 4 sections, we're going to pat stitch, and we'll first start with section 1 with a collar stand. That's the first we're going to pat stitch. I'm going to use red thread, but yours want similar like you did with the lapel. It's very, very important how you done it with a lapel, and you use it single thread. The thread is matches to your top fabric, so you not going to see it, and you have to go through all the layers. So it's in a similar way. And actually, I'm going to put something under so you can see even closer. And I'm going to fold it on my finger. See, like that. So I'm folding on my finger to create that tension. So in a way, so I want that color to be curved. And before we do, I want you to start your pat stitching. It's just 5 millimeters away from the edge. And the reason we do that, so it's going to be 5 millimeters like that. The reason we do that is because just in case if you need to trim your collar, you don't have to unpick your stitchings. So that's the reason. So folding like that, so it sits very nicely, very tight on my finger, and I just from the break line. So from that break line is quite important, from the break line away to that side, yeah. So I start from the break line and I do the pat stitching, go through all the layers and picking just a couple of threads underneath so you can actually feel it. Make sure you wear thimble because that's where is really needed to push your needle, and then you go around. You have to end it up with a small dots underneath, which is they will be visible, but it have to be quite small. So I'm going to see. So as you see, so I've got this those two here, there and there. They are quite tiny. So yeah, you continue doing that. Probably have to spend some time because it's quite important that is the tension is being done correctly. Yeah, and then you just continue doing your pat stitching. Okay, so all the way through. So I'm not going to finish all. But what I'm going to explain to you, so you've done you start your pat stitching and then you pat stitch all the way through, so you can't see, isn't it? So you start pat stitching, you start from here, you go along your break line, you stop 5 millimeters before, and then you come back and you go to another line, do another line, and then you come back and do another line like that. Back, and then you just do all that collar stand, which is I prepared here for you already, so you can see what has been done. So we've done all that. And as you see, I've got a little bit of 5 millimeters away from the edge. So if it needs to be trimmed, so I can trim it easily. So I've done that. So when you've done that part, the next part would be is to pat stitch your, I'm just going to cut the thread, hold on a minute. So the next part would be is to pat stitch your section 2. And with the section 2, you do the opposite to your collar stand. So if I just bring that closer so you can see. So if your color stand here is we pat, you know, from the break line, we pat stitch that way. This one we're doing opposite again from the break line. We are now we are folding on your finger and then pat stitch now away from your break line. Okay, so it's natural how is your color will go, isn't it? So we'll breaks here. So that will be this side, and then the rest will be on that side. Yeah, so that's what we'll see there. So in exactly the same manner, so 5 millimeters away from the edge, away from your break line, we start doing your pat stitching like that. And you go ahead, and then you pat stitch. And then the small stitchings, make sure they are tiny underneath. And you go ahead and then you just in the same manner and you go away. So you are pat stitch all along your break line, stop 5 millimeters before, and then go back doing that to back to that there. When you come to the corners, yes, so you've got corners, then you again you are stop to this line, so you can draw your lines. You stop to that line and come back there. So yes, so you don't go into the corners because it's going to be different direction how we're going to back stitch. Okay, so there we go. So I start, as you see, maybe closer. You've got 2 little dots. That's what you're going to see. And if you are using the actual color thread, you hardly can see. See, that's been all pat stitch. You hardly can see any of the threads at all. Okay. So yeah, so you continue doing that, which is already prepared earlier for you. So I'm going to show you the final result. So that's what I've done, and already you can see, if you're doing it correctly, you can see how the collar is now being curls, isn't it? So it gives that type of color. So if your collar curls like that and have that shape, that means you're doing right. That means your pat stitching and your tension on the fabric is absolutely correct. So now you can see what I've done. So I'm just going to open there. So you can see what is being done, and it curls into the right direction. Yeah, so that's perfect. Now what is left to do is corners. So you've got corner 4 and you've got corners 3. So in those ones, we do similar, we're doing pat stitching, so in a similar manner, but instead of obviously going from your break line here, which is you have, we are going from the line we draw. And so this one is our corner, and what we do, we turn it to that point there, and we curve it. We will curve your corners that way. The reason is because when it's on person, what we don't want to see is that when it falls like that on the neckline, you've got your collar on the neckline like that. And the one thing you don't want to see is, see, that goes around your neck like this. You don't want to see those corners is flipping up like that. So when they do like that, that means it's a wrong tension, and it means the application and the technique's being used wrongly. Okay, so what we want those corners is actually go underneath like that. Okay, so that's the technique. So that's what I'm going to do. Number 3, number 4 is using single thread, the color of your the fabric, and those corners we're just going to go away. So I'm just going to have something to pat that. And then from that line again, 5 millimeters away from the edge, and we just pat stitch that away. So that goes opposite. Every tailor probably will have different ways pat stitch the collar, and different ways to do it. And this is one way, and this is the way I usually do, and it works for me. But as I said, it's different people do it different way. And that is one of the traditional way you can do. And just continue, take your time. So the collar will take your time, and so because you do want to make sure it's done well. Otherwise, there's no point to do it. So okay, that. And you just continue that stitching now. And as you see, they're quite small, and you just continue that stitching there, and so on, right to the end of the, so pat stitching right to the end of the corner. So there's opposite way there, and again it's very tiny little dots there, and of course I'm using red so you can see more. Yeah. So I will finish the collar, and I'm going to show you the final result in the next lesson, so you know what it will look like, and we will continue working on that. Thank you. Bye.